mere meat. So I wanted to discuss Aleister Crowley's definition of magic, because it's something that's debated quite often, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on the topic. Now, as most of you know, Crowley's definition is simply magic is the art and science of causing change to occur in accordance with will. Pretty simple. However, a lot of people criticize this definition because they say it's too broad. Because, technically speaking, he is calling all willful actions magic. I took my earring out. It was a willful action, so by that definition, it is magic. I'm putting the earring back in. I'm trying to. Yes, clearly. Also a willful action, and again, magic. So a lot of people add to that, basically saying something like, magic is the art and science of causing change to occur in accordance with will by means unknown to modern science. The exact definition varies from person to person, but it's something like that. A lot of famous occultists have had that version of it. And I see the point of that, but at the same time, I think that is giving the whatever current scientific paradigm that happened to be in place at the moment too much power over magic. It basically makes science the lord of magic, because it basically says as soon as science says, oh, we have figured out how this thing works, then it's no longer magic. So, for example, let's look at herbalism. At one point in time, herbalism was considered magic, the knowledge of how to use herbs to heal. Is it then no longer magic because we know the various enzymes and various substances in these herbs that allow them to work? I'm not sure I'm buying that. To me, working with herbs still feel like magic, even if I know the scientific reason why this works. So, and I mean, if science tomorrow said, we got it, we have discovered how mediumship works. Yes, we have discovered there are spirits. It's now scientifically proven. Somebody cleared some James Randi's challenge. Mediumship is proven. It's a fact. Is it then suddenly not magic? Poof! It's just that entire concept of occultism is just gone. Boom! I'm not sure I'm buying that, because that sort of say that if this discipline here acknowledges something, then suddenly it's not magic anymore. And that's sort of like saying if it's proven to be true, then it doesn't exist anymore. And that doesn't really work for me. At the same time, I can see how Crowley's definition can be a bit too broad, because again, like I said, by that, any willful act is magic. By that, any act that are not magic. I can't talk today. The only acts that would not be magic would be something that you do unconsciously, like I have a tendency to sit and do like this when I'm watching a movie or something. That wouldn't be magic, because, yeah, I'm scratching my head without really thinking about it. Going out to the kitchen and making a cup of tea would, because I put my will in it. A lot of people say that if you have that definition where everything is magic, then nothing is magic. That, like my teacher used to say, unless you have a definition that squares something off, like the banks of a river, then there are no river. And I see the point of that. I definitely do. But at the same time, is there not some truth in Crowley's definition too? I mean, what is, for example, making tea? It's combining things and making something that's greater than the sum of its part. I mean, just drinking hot water, not so yummy. Just eating dried herbal powder, not so yummy either. You combine this and perhaps a bit of honey in it and so on and so forth, then suddenly it's something that tastes delicious. It's greater than the sum of its parts. And what is that if not alchemy? I mean, Crowley, he had a tendency to, when he felt that he was under some sort of spiritual attack, he would actually go to the movies and watch a comedy. Because he believed that just laughing, just the simple act of laughing your butt off, was one of the greatest cleansing rituals there could be. He took a very mundane task, and because he willed it, it became magic. Now, of course, that is one idea of it, of his quote there, that since it's in accordance with will, then every act in accordance with will becomes magic. So, picking up a book, magic. Wiping your ass, magic. Everything that you do by means of your will. And it doesn't then necessarily, that definition, separate between what you do with spiritual means and what you do with non-spiritual means or physical means, because it's all magic. But you also have to remember when you look at that quote that you might have to look deeper. Because, remember, Crowley's Telema system literally means will. One of the core concepts of his system was that you have a true will. And it is quite possible that what he meant by his definition is everything that you do in accordance with your true will. And that's something quite different. Now, this video is nowhere near the scope of explaining the concept of true will as per Crowley's ideas. But I'll give you a little quick idea of it. It's basically the concept that a lot of what we do in everyday life, it's basically just unconscious behavior. It's just what we do, or it's something what we are led to believe that we want. Let's say you decide you want a bottle of cola, but if you sit down and think about it, what you really want is something sweet, and then you think about why do I want something sweet? And then our image pop up in your mind of sitting with your family, enjoying cakes and sweets on hot summer evenings on the porch. And then you realize that what you really want is not that cola. What you really want is to go and visit your family. So basically, under the layers of our immediate wants is our true will, but you might have to dig a bit to get at it. And Crowley believed that if we followed our true will, that was alchemy. That was the great work. And as such, it is quite possible that what he meant when he said magic is the art and science of causing change to occur in accordance with will, what he meant was in accordance with your true will. That whatever you do in accordance with your true will is magic. Which is a quite narrower definition, and I can't really say I completely agree with that one either, because it narrows it down too much. So, yeah. Is Crowley's definition of magic a perfect one? No, I think that there are no perfect definitions of magic, because it's a very hard concept to fully define. I think by its very definition, it's very difficult to say this is magic. This is absolutely magic. However, I do think if you look at it from the most direct idea that everything you do with your will is magic, I think that is a pretty good one. Now, do I usually consider putting my earrings on and brushing my hair magic? No, not as such. For me, magic usually have to have some sort of spiritual element to it. But at the same time, I believe that looking at everything as magic, as basically considering, is this a willful act? Then yes, it's magic that gives all my actions a deeper meaning. It makes it more than just eating a slice of bread with cheese, or painting my nails, or emptying the kitty litter. It becomes a willful act, and by that magic, and by that one more step on my magical path, it becomes a way to look at the world with magical eyes, rather than just looking at it with those, rather than just looking at your rituals and your meditations and such with those eyes. When you look at everything you do from that perspective, I believe that's a very powerful thing. I believe that's a thing that can really advance the great work for you with everything you do. Because not only then you get used to thinking about things in the terms of magic, but it gives a greater and a spiritual meaning to everything that you do. So, is Crowley's definition of magic my favorite one? No, it's not. But it definitely ranks up there, and I believe it's a pretty good definition, and I do not necessarily think that it needs to be added to that it's by means unrecognized by modern science and so on and so forth. I believe that that definition of magic works very well, both with Crowley's systems of magic, and also from the perspective of developing yourself. Because if you look at, I believe that if you look at all your willful acts as magic, then you will also be more mindful of those acts, because in doing them you are working magic. You're doing something sacred. So when then making waffles or setting the table for dinner becomes a sacred act, becomes an act of magic, then you will constantly walk in sacredness, and that will develop yourself and it will further the great work. So yeah, I believe that magic is the art and science of causing change to occur in accordance with will is a pretty damn good definition of magic. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and blessed be.